his point is this was, and just dealing with the office complex investment that BoG is making. We'll come to the loss, the bigger loss subsequently. The plan was there. You committed to it in your time. All governments inherited it. But you also actually moved in terms of trying to get a land. In fact, he alleges that there was a financial loss incurred. And they simply went ahead with a project that all government before them had committed to do. So what's the big deal here?
Well, let me, first of all, thank you so very much for having me on your platform. And to Richard, I've not seen him in a while. Yeah. First of all, Richard and Evans, you must understand that we are talking about a bank which owes fiduciary responsibility to the people of Ghana because that is our bank. And so decisions taken by the bank, especially investment decisions, must be taken prudently. And they ought to be accountable for those decisions. No one says that, or no one is saying that they conceived the idea of building a bank in 2017. No one has said that. But building the bank in 2021, at the height of our economic and social crisis, was it a prudent decision? That goes to show that the bank has been so mismanaged that the managers of the bank have not exercised prudence in their decision making. And that has led us to the situation in which we are.
It has to be built sometime.
It has to be built. Yeah. So in 2000, before NDC handed over, NDC built a hospital. So no one is saying that the Bank of Ghana cannot build. But how did they build the hospital? They built the hospital from the profits they had made. And so they decided to invest part of the profits in building the hospital. You don't make a loss of 60 billion Ghana cedis and have a negative equity of 55%. You know what negative equity means?
Yeah, you mean you're broke.
It means that you are not having 50% loss in equity. You are not having 100% loss in equity. You are having more than 100% loss in equity. That is minus 55. You are so deep in the hole that you are still found money to invest in building the hospital.
I think, but I'll check with Tom. But remember that this report we are talking about is a 2022 report. So at the time that they were committing to build 250, so did they have this debt on their books?
So the project is ongoing?
Yeah, but they already
the project is ongoing?
In 2021, if they had done a budget for it.
If you know Project Life, there's a budget for it.
Yes.
That budget, and the project has got a gestation period.
Yes.
And the project is still ongoing. In the current crisis in which we are, the project is still ongoing.
But you already would have devoted.
They have not devoted.
And budgeted for it in 2021.
Budget doesn't mean
that if you had a crisis, you say you stop the project that you've already budgeted for and secured funds for.
You are talking to somebody who has implemented,
government projects and bill rules.
Government projects and knows about contract administration. You don't earmark funds for building a project. You do a rolling budget. Every year you are going to put money into the project. Over a period of time, you expect to amortize or complete the project within a certain period of time. It's not that the money is sitting in the bank. If the money were sitting in the bank, they won't have a negative equity of 55% for 2022. It's not so. You need to understand. And I'm saying that at the time that they started the building, no reasonable bank manager would have committed to investing in the project when we were still suffering the ravages of COVID.
And all the projections said.
And the projections just showed that the economies were going to slow down. No reasonable person. When countries were taking steps to protect the economic fundamentals of their countries, you are thinking in investing in your comfort? No, that shows that's evidence of the incompetence and mismanagement of the leadership of the bank. You don't do that. And I'm surprised that you say it doesn't matter. And if you were a private investor, you are struck by difficulty. You have plans to build a new house. Wouldn't it be prudent on your part to wait until your situation improves? You don't think that it's prudent?
I don't think.
You don't think that it doesn't matter?
But see, I don't think.
I'm so disappointed that you say that. You said it doesn't matter.
No.
You said your private opinion doesn't matter.
Yes. Because
and I'm surprised because you are talking as a
What I say
Ghanaian.
about it doesn't matter.
You are a shareholder in the bank.
No, please.
You are a shareholder in the bank. No. Please,
I haven't said
let me tell you that you are a shareholder in the bank.
I do know that, but I haven't
You don't
said
know that.
Oh,
if you knew that, you wouldn't say it doesn't matter.
Well, no, your attribution to me, I don't think.
Okay, you don't know that.
If you need me to clarify, I'll clarify.
No, you don't need to clarify. Everybody heard you.
No.
How can you say that? You're not angry enough that people who were put in trust of our bank have so mismanaged and damaged the bank that you tell me that, and you tell Ghanaians that it doesn't matter.
No.
I'm so disappointed in you.
I am disappointed.
I'm so disappointed.
I'm disappointed in you.
What? How can you say this?
Is it worse that you are?
No. How can you say this?
I am disappointed in you.
How can you say that?
Mr. Fuseini, a second.
That is the reason why. That is the reason why we have gotten to where we are.
Yeah, Mr. Fuseini,
you can make statements that it doesn't matter.
A second.
Yes.
You remember when you passed the comment, you're not the BoGs, you're not the board.
Yes.
But left to you alone, it doesn't matter.
No.
I asked you,
please.
You say it doesn't matter?
Hold on. You asked me a question about a board decision to invest in a project.
At the time of the economic crisis.
Yes. And that project we're talking about. And you asked my opinion. And I said my personal opinion would not matter because there's a decision already taken.
Okay, so
if they are the point of making the decision to ask
so your opinion didn't matter.
Whether or not
you're not commenting on the prudence of the decision.
No, I'm saying that you are asking my personal opinion on a matter that is already.
Does that offer clarity?
No, it doesn't offer.
No, but listen.
It goes to compound the situation that Richard has divorced himself.
No, please.
As a Ghanaian, from the requirement of accountability and responsibility.
If you exercise some restraint, you can understand what we're saying.
Well,
wait. I'll come to Richard.
No, let me listen. Because this is serious. Otherwise.
But you've clarified.
No.
Let's clarify.
I need him to understand.
No, but you're not addressing him. You're addressing your audience.
But he's attributing something to me I don't accept.
But you've clarified.
No, let me
that when you said it didn't matter.
Because you asked him whether or not he's satisfied, and he said,
but you
shouldn't have asked him if you thought it was important. You shouldn't have asked him.
I'm saying you've clarified.
Give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute.
Take it.
The structure is clear. That the decision to build or not to build belongs to the board of Bank of Ghana. Whether I'm a citizen who has an interest or not, I don't influence that decision at the time they're making it. Because we're all here when they make the decision and nobody was called. So they made a decision as a board and they are responsible for it. And so you ask me a question relative to a decision they have already made and they are in motion with that. And you're asking my personal opinion. I said, my personal opinion at this point would not matter. But allow me to comment on what they have done, which is to say that the bank from time immemorial had committed.
You've repeated that.
Yes, but it's important for him to understand what is attributing.
But
you should be able to moderate the program.
No, but that is why
not to attribute
Richard,
things
that is
to me.
why I came back to clarify, and you've clarified. Yes, a second. I'll come back to you. No, I'll come back. Hold on, Richard. That's why I came back to clarify. But remember, Richard, that you are here as the communications director of the MPP.
Right.
So when I said I'm going to ask you the ordinary man's question, which is 2021, you actually are telling us, because you were trying to say, oh, this was something that was historical, and they inherited it, that in 2021, at the height of COVID, at the height of the economic crisis that everybody was telling you you're going to go to, was it the prudent thing to invest 250 million? I was asking you as a spokesperson for your party. You're saying that was a prudent thing to do. That's the question.
I didn't say that.
But that was a question I was asking you.
Yeah, but
as a spokesperson for your party.
Right, so then I ask you to allow me to establish...
Let me rephrase my question then.
Okay, so you want to re-ask the question?
Yes, because it's important.
Yeah.
As the spokesperson for your party, you are saying to us that the party and yourself, because you speak for them, right, believe that it was a prudent thing to invest 250 million, budget for it, and actually start the project in 2021, height of COVID, beginning of the economic crisis.
If you want me to answer in hindsight, because the facts are before us now, and remember when I ended my statement, I posed the question, would we be talking about this today, but for the 53.1 billion? You remember I ended that way. So we are having a conversation in context outside of us. That's why I told you.
So you say in hindsight,
in hindsight, that's a conversation we're having. In hindsight, it's proper to say that they should stop. But then the commitment has already been made. And remember your own question to him, to say that the commitment of building this had already started. You asked him that question.
Yes, and
then he now went to tell us about his
the
credentials in project management. So you need to be able to situate the conversation that we are not making a judgment on the matter from where we stand, but I'm making an analysis for you that led the bank to commit to build
But importantly, you've said that in hindsight...
So I'm very disappointed by
it's okay. No, good. I mean, you're fine. I don't get you say, but importantly, you've said...
So we are speaking in context.
Importantly, you've said in hindsight, they shouldn't have gone ahead with the project at the time they did, considering the economic...
I didn't say that. There's a critical question that I've asked you.
Yeah, no, but don't ask me a question. I'm asking the question.
But it doesn't mean that you have monopoly. No, it doesn't mean that you have monopoly. No problem. But I can ask you a question. Which question you all actually asking?
So you're saying that in hindsight,
Evans,
250 million in 2021 for a project like this, considering where we were, wasn't something we should have done.
He says that I have an interest as a citizen in Bank of Ghana.
Yes.
In fact, I have an interest in our democracy, and you are also equal interest. So I can ask you a question, you can ask me.
No problem. Let's move away.
So the point, I need to ask you a question that can really help you clarify your question. The point I want to ask you is that now we have a debt on Bank of Ghana's book now, about 53.1 billion. This building has been going on since 2001. Have you found reason to ask that question up until now? So it's a contextual issue that you understand that, yes, the project was relevant at the time they were doing it. Maybe now we need to re-examine the issues and say that going forward, we will not continue.
Okay.
I'm not under any illusion.
I think we have an answer.
So I am not under any illusion, before my senior come, that the Bank of Ghana board itself will be considering going forward, now that they just recorded this, to re-examine that.
Okay.
So that question belongs to all of us, but in hindsight, we cannot make the decision as though that this should have been seen in 2021.
Okay. But I need to say this. At 2021, when they were doing this, and part of the thing that central banks do is to make projections. At the time, it was very clear that we are facing an economic crisis of historic proportions. That is a fact. Any economist that will tell you that at that time you could project. They should have known at the time, and that's the view of many, that was not the time. That was not the time to do investment. I know you have quick one. I can go to Thomas.
Well, I think that basically maybe Richard communicated in such a way as not to communicate what he wanted to say. And you see, we are not Humpty Dumpty. I mean, you don't mean what you say what you mean. No. And so clearly,
it's unfortunate.
Clearly,
I give you credit that you will be able to see the
context. Please, I'm allowing him. It's entitled to opinion. Let him.
I agree. But if his opinion is injurious to me,
I will always give you an opportunity to clarify.
But his opinion is very injurious.
I agree with Richard that we can't influence a board decision opinion. But I don't agree with him when you say that you can't evaluate a decision of a board.
I didn't say that.
Oh, you can.
I didn't
say
that.
If you can evaluate the decision of a board, if you can assess, if you can critique the decision of a board, what Evans was asking you was to assess the decision in the light of what happened.
I think he's answered that. I think he's answered that.
So the consequence of my evaluation is what?
It's okay.
The project is already there. So my assessment, what is the consequence?
Richard, I think we are making peace. We are making peace. So why are you now?
Proceed.
I'm not.
So the question, the simplest question to ask anybody who is conversant with finance and economic planning and the way countries are managed is, was it a wise and prudent decision to start a major investment project by the Bank of Ghana in the middle of COVID? That's the simplest question you ask. And I think that the overwhelming answer will be no, because you will have to wait. Because of your fiduciary responsibilities to the people of Ghana, your shareholders, you will have to wait until the situation improves. Because the Bank of Ghana is not a law unto itself. We, the people, the sovereigns, have decided to establish the People's Bank, and that is the Bank of Ghana. And if the Bank of Ghana needs capital, you and I will have to recapitalize it. So it's our money with which the Bank of Ghana is working. So they have a responsibility under the Companies Code and under their Act, 612, to manage the bank prudently. They have that responsibility. And I don't think that the decision to commit $250 million at the height of COVID to build an edifice to gratify their leisure or pleasure was right.
Let's move. So your party say, and your members in parliament, your former colleagues say they're going to occupy the central bank in 21 days unless the central bank governor resigns. As we've just seen, the evidence is that you cannot entirely blame him. So why is he taking the floor and not the finance minister? Not the finance minister. Why not occupying the finance minister?
I think that the minority have been very charitable to the Bank of Ghana and the board of directors. They ought to have called for his arrest. There has been a violent and flagrant breach of the Bank of Ghana Act. And the least we expect of public officers is to give fidelity to the law. The law establishing the Bank of Ghana, passed by the Parliament of Ghana, says that the Bank of Ghana can undertake certain activities. It gives a threshold and a benchmark. There are also procedural requirements, all captured in Section 30. Tell me, which of those requirements were followed by the Bank of Ghana? But that is the law, that is the legal framework that establishes the mandate of the bank. Section 67 of the Act says that any infringement of the provisions is an offense, punishable summarily by 2 years imprisonment. So the NDC has been very charitable to the governor of the Bank of Ghana. Indeed, you see, the Bank of Ghana government, and if you want, the finance minister, the presidency, have been engaged in some criminal conspiracy
to
violate the laws of the country and put us in the situation in which we are. In fact, that's why I have said elsewhere that they establish a criminal enterprise. Why do you think that Parliament, in its wisdom, said that the Bank of Ghana can lend, because that is the lender of last resort, can lend to the Bank of Ghana, but must not exceed 5%? Because even though Parliament was passing the law, Parliament knows, and the people of Ghana know, that excess money supply in the system will lead to inflation. They know. And the inflation will put a lot of people in poverty. Does it come to you a little surprise that the activities of the Bank of Ghana and the government of Ghana led to 850,000 people moving into poverty? So if you are a governor of a Bank of Ghana, to perform your duties in accordance with law, and the law sets up a threshold and a benchmark for you, and you are being used or forced to do some things, your recourse is the law. Point to the law. Because that is the executive. If they think that what you are telling them will not meet their expectations and cannot do the work that they want done, what do? They go back to Parliament under a certificate of urgency and do what? And amend the law.
But what about Parliament itself?
Now, Martin, I just told you that under the law, Section 37 as amended, the Bank of Ghana, Ernest Yedu Addison, has a responsibility to report to the Parliament of Ghana.
So he didn't do that?
He didn't do that.
Okay.
Why didn't he do it? Was it impunity?
Well, we don't even know yet. I mean, because if it...
No. You need to hold people in public office accountable.
But the question I have, because you're a former member of Parliament, is Parliament has the power, does it not, to get the Bank of Ghana governor to answer these questions? Or under the law, are they allowed to do that?
They're allowed to do that.
So why haven't they done that and yet they want to occupy? Because that's the legitimate legal process to follow.
So the fact that they want to
get accountability.
The fact that they want to occupy Bank of Ghana does not mutually exclude.
But they haven't said that they will do that.
That does not mutually exclude them from inviting him to Parliament. And so these are two.
But you think that they will do that first?
Well, whatever they choose to do first, whatever they choose to do first is not mutually exclusive. Now, first of all, let's all understand that governance is not an easy job. The people don't get elected into office to do only easy things. That if you are spending money and the money is no longer available, you don't go forcing your central bank to give you money to continue to spend. You do what? You reduce the expenditure. This is what governments are elected to do. And so, to connive, conspire, to wreak havoc on the economy and put a lot of people into problems, into poverty and hardship, is an unpardonable offense. That people who have led us into this stage into this situation must be held. Okay,
and I want to quickly wrap up with something that IMF said, and to jump on.
And then lastly, let me just conclude. I mean, IMF, we know that they have passed a vote of no confidence in the Bank of Ghana.
Well,
they've installed an external supervisor.
In fact, that